After dominating as a safety in his freshman season, Devin was swapped over to the offensive side of the ball after the first two quarterbacks got injured early on in the season. Tracking back to high school, Devin Waters actually played both sides of the ball consecutively his senior year, leading to him receiving offers from Kansas on both sides. Although Devin committed as a safety and fulfilled his entire first season as one, with the injuries plaguing the Kansas roster, he was forced into playing quarterback and taking over as a starter. He would then go on to completely turn around Kansas and finish off that season at 10-2, but after a brutal loss in the Cotton Bowl to the Michigan State Spartans, Devin was getting buzz around college football with potential to play with a bigger school to better his draft stock. With now untapped potential and a chance at a future in the NFL at the quarterback position, Devin thought it was best to play at a higher end program and hopefully take his game to the next level through the transfer portal. He would receive interest from so many schools across the nation, but would ultimately choose a school he put on his initial high school wish list and go play for the Florida State Seminoles, where he would take over as a starting quarterback. Our first game as a starting quarterback at FSU, we would be taking on the number 17 ranked Pittsburgh Panthers, and we were starting this game off hot, hitting a deep ball over the middle to Micah Pittman, and we're sitting pretty already in enemy territory. And on the very next play, we're able to hit our tight end in the corner of the end zone for our first touchdown ever as a starting quarterback for Florida State. Pitt would go on to score against us, but our special teams would get us in prime position to go ahead and score another touchdown, and our running back is going to do so as he breaks multiple tackles to the end zone. To open up the third quarter, we would start off with the read option and kick it out and show off our true speed that we were able to show off as a safety as well in the college level, and we were off all the way to the end zone, but our wide receiver was not able to land the block, and we would end up going down near the 20-yard line. Now on a 3rd and 5 with nobody open, he's trying to be Superman over the middle, and Devin Waters is going to dive for the end zone but fumble at the 1-yard line, and this would be his first ever true mistake as a quarterback. That fumble at the goal line would result in a 3-point deficit, but Devin Waters is not finished yet as he's hitting deep balls over the middle, and that would also back into this throw down the sideline as well, and now we're in prime position to go ahead and take the lead once again. Our coach would allow us to get our revenge, bouncing it to the outside, and we're finally get that rushing touchdown that we tried to get earlier in the game. Our defense would force a turnover, and we're now trying to put the dagger in this game, but Devin would do too much dancing in the backfield and take a sack, but our coach would go for it on 4th and 14, and Devin would throw the prettiest ball yet of the game. And with the handoff to Trey Benson, he was able to punch it in and take a 2-possession lead, and we are going to have our first win of the season, and Devin Waters actually won the player of the game, getting over 187 yards and nearly 100 on the ground. After having a pretty decent start with the Seminoles, Devin Waters was ready to take on his next opponent as he found himself in a 3rd and 15, scrambling, juking out defenders to pick up a hard first down. But that first play you saw there wouldn't be the tale of this game, as Devin Waters would struggle terribly in this one, throwing not only one interception here, but forcing balls all game long. As we scramble out of the pocket once again, we found ourselves throwing our 2nd interception of the game. Now falling down 9-0, we're trying to bounce back in this game, but Devin Waters is not keeping the ball in his hands at all as he's going to fumble the rock, but luckily Trey Benson could pick it up. But now we found ourselves in the end zone, and in the 3rd quarter, still having 0 points on the board, Devin is forcing another ball, and this is going to be his 3rd turnover of the game, and it's looking like we might get shut out in this one. But our defense would continue to ball out all game, and with all this time left on the clock, we could still come back and win as Devin would throw the prettiest ball yet as he would have a touchdown in the back of the corner, and now we're only trailing by 2. Now with them scoring a field goal to take a 5-point lead, we have to score a touchdown, and with 20 seconds remaining and no timeouts, it's going to be very difficult, especially when we're burning clock staying in bounds here. Now on a Hail Mary attempt, we didn't even throw the ball up. We had a desperation run where it failed miserably, and we would have our first loss of the season, tailing over 3 turnovers. Fast forwarding to the next game, we find ourselves trailing by 7 once again in the 3rd quarter, getting shut out again. Devin Waters is going to break the pocket and find a broken coverage and find the wide receiver in the back of the end zone to tie it up. With the NC State offense scoring once again, we find ourselves trailing by a touchdown, but Devin is going to respond back on the first play of offense, finding Micah Pittman behind the coverage wide open for 6. It would end up scoring a touchdown and chewing a lot of the clock out, but they did not hit the extra point. So if we go ahead and score 7 right here, we could end this game on off, but we cannot seem to get any yards going here. Now sitting on a 3rd and inches, they are going to send the blitz, and we could not complete the pass. So on a 4th and inches, we're trying to punch it in, but we're going to get destroyed, and we're going to go on to lose our 2nd game in a row, falling to 5-2 on the year. Not getting down on ourselves, we have an interstate rival in the Miami Hurricanes we have to take on next, and we're going to start this game off pretty nicely, hitting a slant across the middle, and our wide receiver is going to do the rest, and that would later lead to us taking a read option not only for a couple yards, but all the way to the end zone to open the game up with 7. After their offense would score, we would throw an interception, and then would go ahead and take a 7-point lead. So we have to go ahead and fire back as Devin's going to try to start this drive off with a huge throw up the middle. He was taking a lot of chances this game, chucking the ball up the middle to our tight end, and he's going to haul it in, and we all of a sudden have this game tied up at 14 apiece before half. This Miami Hurricanes team was scoring at will against our defense, so we had to keep up with them, and we were chucking it up to Micah Pittman this time, and he's going to come down with it. And luckily, we were able to play action off that play and just score an easy touchdown to tie it up at 21 right before the 4th. 4th. Our defense would finally get a stop, so we're trying to take a possession on offense and score in this one and maybe even make it the last one, but Devin has other opportunities on his mind as he's going to take it all the way to the outside and score on a huge 75-yard touchdown on the ground. And now with our defense getting another stop and we're trying to get a first down right here to end the game off, Devin would get so many yards after the first down, and that would be a victory as we take out our interstate rival. And in our very next game, we're trailing by 8 points with 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, and Devin is trying to spark a comeback and even get the 2-point conversion to send this game to overtime. Devin was having the best drive of the game so far, and it took all the way to the last one as he's going to have a huge scramble that would get us inside the 25-yard line, and then hitting our running back in the backfield, he's going to convert the 4th down, and now we're sitting inside the 10 with a lot of the clock chewed off. And after our coach calling 2 running plays on the first 2 plays of this reset downs, we're sitting at a 3rd and goal where we have to force some dumb balls in the end zone, and missing a wide open player, we had to go it on 4th and goal. And Devin saw nobody open, so he's going to try to scramble up the middle and fail, and we're going to go on to lose this matchup. Trying to finish off the season strong, we're taking another Florida rival on as Devin's going to have one of his best plays of the year yet, juking out a safety in the backfield, and we're going to be all the way to the end zone to start this game off with a 75-yard touchdown. I think that last loss to Syracuse truly woke up Devin as he is looking electrifying this game, hitting throws on the run beautifully to Micah Pittman as well. There would be a lot of big plays this game, hitting our tight end over the middle. That would be our 2nd touchdown of the game, and we would quickly go around back to get our 3rd touchdown of the game, taking a 21-7-point lead. The one game our offense looks unstoppable, our defense cannot stop a nosebleed, and Devin Waters is doing everything he can in this matchup, everything on the ground, everything in the air, and you can see the vision on this play as he takes another read option all the way inside the 10-yard line. But once again, going back to the read option, we would get hit on this play and take a stinger and have to come out the game for a little bit, and we would end up having to settle for a field goal, but at least we have a 7-point lead. Defense would get a stop, and instead of chewing out the clock, we wanted to put all the points up we could against our rival, and Micah Pittman is going to be open all game long, and instead of kneeling the ball, we're going to punch it in one more time. Although we ended the season off at 9-3, we would not make the ACC championship as we lost to Syracuse, and they are now sitting ahead of us in the conference standings, but we would make a bowl game where we'd be taking on the Texas Longhorns, who we played a lot when we played at Kansas. With Devin Waters feeling himself and getting a lot of confidence late in the season, he was hitting throws that no one thought he could possibly do, and he was looking like one of the best scrambling quarterbacks in the nation as well, as not only would he fall at the 1-yard line right there, he would get his get back and score on the next play. We were once trailing 23-10 in this matchup, and Devin Waters is not going to bow down in this last championship game as he's going to bounce it to the outside and score another scrambling touchdown to finally take a 1-point lead. With our defense getting a stop, if we score another touchdown right here, we can get it to an 8-point lead where they would have to score a 2-point conversion, and Devin is going to throw a linebacker off him and go all the way to the 1-yard line as he gets pushed out of bounds. And on a motion play, we were able to punch it in on a quarterback run up the middle, and that would clutch our very first bowl win ever in college. It took all the way to our junior season. Devin had a much better year here than he did at Kansas as he finished with almost 3,000 yards and 27 touchdowns through the air, but on the ground is where he shined with almost 1,000 and another 10 on the ground. He had a great season at Florida State. As we look to pursue an NFL draft, we have to come back for our senior year.